Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Let's get started by looking at the continuing work of the Faculty of Humanities and Education. All week long, they're having open week, and every day from 5 till 7, there's a chance for us to be online engaging in the different disciplines and programs that fall under that faculty, one of which is the School of Education. And joining us this morning is a lecturer in psychology, Dr. Jules, who is a part of this School of Education. Good morning to you, Dr. Jules.
Good morning, Pearson. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. Thank you for asking. How do you do?
Yeah, I'm good. Excited to talk about our psychology program in the department. So I'm ready for your question.
So let's talk about that then. What is so exciting about psychology that makes
Psychology.
that makes it such a course of study that we'd want to be a part of?
Well, to get the ball rolling, why did I fall in love with it? Why do so many people fall in love with it? It is the science of what makes us think. How do we think? Our personalities, what motivates us, how we learn, right? So it's what's happening inside, understanding scientifically what's happening inside, and then how that translates into our behaviors. And if you think about it, that permeates every section of our landscape, our social landscape, because we are human beings, and the science of us.
But sometimes we discover things about us that we don't necessarily want to confront. So the study of psychology requires a certain kind of character if you're going to engage in this course of study. What would you describe that character to be?
Having a good moral compass and an understanding of ethics, right? So remember, it is a science of humanity, but we also have to remember who we are as human beings. Our humanity is very important. So what is happening is that in the program, across our courses, we understand the ethics when doing research and interacting with others, the importance of how to be cognizant of vulnerable populations, not to be exploitative in our interactions. So what I would say is that the undergraduate program, the BA psychology program that we have in our faculty, gives us a good base for how to think critically, not only to analyze the actions of other people, reflect about ourselves, as well as understand the hallmarks of what makes us a good Caribbean citizen, what makes us a good global citizen,
Yes.
So I think that's because we have embedded in the program experiential activities and we recently revised the program, I should say that, to include a larger suite of courses to keep up with the times, to keep it hot and popping.
She had to go there. No, because naturally, we're building a society. We're building a society of people who have different experiences, and in order for us to be able to order the society a whole lot better, this form of education is going to be very vital. And so the psychologist plays a key role in helping us to understand why it is that when we put two together, there's sometimes a bit of friction, or sometimes it's so complementary, it's just amazing. And so the study of psychology, as you said, requires us to be ethical in our approach.
That's right.
How do you determine who then best fits that criteria to be a part of the program?
Now, what I would say is, what you're talking about, the ethics and the practitioner side of things, that comes when you go into graduate school. So in order to be registered or licensed as a psychologist, you have to go and do further study after undergrad. However, to get into the program now, it's based on your qualifications and area of interest. Okay, so when students graduate from the undergraduate program, they're not psychologists, right? They now have to go on and do further study. But what I'm saying is that students who have an interest in understanding themselves, who may have queries about why their family dynamics are the way that they are, I'll give you some snippets. We have courses like cyber psychology, because with the online world intersecting with our face-to-face environment, this is something that students especially will be grappling with. Is my identity online the same as the person that I want to be offline? We have courses about intimate relationships and human sexuality, the psychology of spirituality, moving away from not just thinking of our understanding of our spiritual being within religious connotation, but taking a more global approach to that, right? Psychological first aid and trauma. So what I'm saying is that if you're interested, come. if you're interested in any one of those areas in psychology, come.
Come. You're looking at the total. Yeah, I can see the cat. That's all right. Joining you this morning. But you're talking about the complete human condition. You know, we're not just
Yes.
one tracked, we're multi-tracked. And as a consequence, the study of psychology is able to almost hit on every track, but you can specialize in specific tracks as you go. So for those who are watching today who are thinking, perhaps this is a course of study I might be engaged, I would want to engage in, how do we start? What's
do
the
we
first
start?
thing I do?
All right. What I would say, you start with student admissions, but I would also say you can contact the School of Education directly. In terms of coming into the program, and I have to be very careful because there are multiple ways to come in, but one of the most common ways are based on your CXC grades as well as your K or A level grades. Okay, so that's very important. Another query that students might be wondering about, when I come to do psychology, is it only psychology courses I have to take? And the beautiful thing about the program that we have in Humanities is that you can do a psychology special, which is a concentration of hardcore psychology courses, or you can do a major, whereby you can do the core psychology courses in addition to space for electives. And if, say, for instance, you want to come and do history or philosophy or linguistics, and you want a taste of psychology, we also have a minor in psychology with some of these same that I would have mentioned before.
Right.
You see, so what I would say is if you're interested, there are multiple tracks to come in, and you also calibrate it based on how concentrated you want your study to be in psychology.
For me, when I think psychology, I'm thinking that you're pardon the phrase, messing with my brain. And so therefore, if you're going to be messing with my brain and my emotions, there has to be some understanding of the physiology, the medicine, so to speak.
Yes.
Is that also a part of the components
Part of it.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have, what is happening is that psychology is, to be a psychologist after training graduate school, we don't use the medical model. So, for instance, to be a psychiatrist, you have to first be a medical practitioner and then you specialize in psychiatry. With psychology, on the other hand, there isn't an emphasis on, say, for instance, clinical pathology only. There are other areas that deal with wellness, that deal with there's positive psychology and health psychology. Now, I think I lost your question a little bit in
That's
terms
right.
of the track, the different tracks is what you're asking.
Yes.
Just remind me, Pearson.
Yes, it is.
I know, right? So different tracks. So what is happening is that it is after the undergraduate program that you can decide to specialize in which area. But there was something else you mentioned, and I really want to address it. It's an area that I'm passionate about.
You're giving me one of my senior moments as well, but that's all right. We're having it together. Once we're having it together, it's okay.
It's okay.
That's right.
No problem.
So for those who are watching today, I know today you're continuing every day between 5 and 7 in the evening, opportunities for us to engage online. Is psychology the discipline that we're going to be looking at this afternoon?
I would say yes, definitely. You can ask more information. I think this evening, our very own Professor Maynard, she's a professor of psychology at the Cato campus. She will be there to touch base with prospective students, interested persons about the discipline.
And folks, it's really important to go to the website kfil.uwi.edu, and you can see how you can log into this evening's session. It's going to be fantastic. And the study of psychology is certainly one that I think it redounds not just to the societal benefit, but the family and the individual. It really gets that nuclear. And so it's so critical that at least, if it would be good, if at least one person can have it in the household.
Yes. And I just remembered, I know we're short for time, but you were talking about the medical aspect of it. It just hit me. So that senior moment came back. We have courses, for instance, like cognitive psychology and the foundations of neuropsychology. So those get to the biological basis of how we think and why we behave the way that we do. But it is not it's not a medical course, but I would say is that it draws on the biology of why we do what we do.
Yes,
okay? That was the question.
There
You'll
we go.
remember.
So, folks, if you have questions on how you can be a part of the program, then this evening is for you from 5 to 7. If you have questions
Yes.
about what else falls under the School of Education or even in the Faculty of Humanities as well, that can be answered. Your questions could be answered this evening and every evening this whole week. 5 to 7 p.m. But you need to go to the website cavehill.uwi.edu, cavehill.uwi.edu, and you can log on from there and you will see and engage for yourself. Psychology is one of those for which you can engage. And Dr. Mia Jules is a fantastic example of how you can have some fun. Fun
Yes.
while studying
Thoroughly enjoy
psychology.
it.
It is not as dreadful for some people as it would appear, you know. So when you're doing so, just engage. Many subjects areas that you can specialize in, you know, from teaching to understanding to ordering a society, a whole host of things, and solving
I thoroughly
societal
agree.
issues as well. So it's a really great program. Dr. Jules, thank you so much as always. It's good to see your smile again in the morning. Have yourself
Yeah,
a good day and
same
much
here,
success.
Pearson.
You're welcome. You're
You
welcome indeed. Take care. There she goes, Dr. Mia Jules, she is also a lecturer in psychology with the University of the West Indies in the School of Education in the Faculty of Humanities and Education. Remember, every day this week, 5 to 7, you need to be online and learn more about the programs being offered in that faculty and how you can be a part of your development, our society's development, and the region's development as well. It's going to do yourself good, all part of the lifelong learning experience. You go to the website kphil.uwi.edu, kphil.uwi.edu, and you can find your way through to find out how you can link up with this evening's session.
Morning, morning, morning.